is not a walk in the park. If we don't define some fundamental things about the nation that we intend to build as of now, moving forward, I bet you will regret ever stepping out to say we want to build a nation. What we do today will define the nation that we will intend to build tomorrow. The biggest thing that has rocked Africa and destroyed it, robbed it of its resources, is mismanagement and unaccountability. Living in the Western world has taught me a very, very good lesson. If I step up in this revolution to fight for our people, it's because we want that the core, the foundation of our nation will be accountability, responsibility, and accountability and taking responsibility for our actions. Any nation built without the pillar stones being accountability is a failure from the word go. Today we'll talk about saving the soul of Amazonia. Any nation without accountability has lost its soul. We'll talk about it. Let's start with our anthem. Because no matter whatever we are doing across the globe, fooling around and saying that, oh, we intend to build a nation. What type of nation do we want for our people? Why do we fight? What are the elements that push us to fight to claim a nation? If we don't redefine that amongst us and within us and live with it, then we're wasting our time. We'll create chaos. Some of the things that we see happening in this revolution, that's what even makes some people skeptical of coming in to support us. Because we identify those ills within this revolution and now we take it to be a normal. This is the 21st century. Corporations, businesses, nations, they are looking forward to working with people who have accountability, people who understand management, people whom if they are working with, when you say from A to B, you move from A to B. That's why you see a big difference between Rwanda and other nations across Africa. Accountability is the core of that nation. And that's what we want in Ambazonia. We should talk about this. Silence in the midst of evil means you are an accomplice to the evil that's taking place. Fellow Amazonians, let's start with our anthem. We have a nation. Fellow Ambazonians, like I said, there is something what they call integrity. doing the right thing when no one is watching. That's the more reason why at times, you know, when I look at my past videos that I've made in the past, I usually see some, funny comments where people make comments and say, oh, you just have a 2 or 3 audience or whatever and the rest. I don't do this for audience. I do it to speak for the right frame mind of Ambazonia, to make sure that I give my own contribution in putting the right blocks in the right place, to build a nation that our grandchildren will be proud of. They will stand by and look at their ancestors and said, yeah, they did it. They did it for us. That's why I do my own part in this revolution. Some people sit and do live videos for, how do you call it, for publicity or showmanship. I do mine to save our nation, to make sure that I call to mind or to reason some Ambazonians who might be in doubt, who might be wondering actually, where to go to, how to move, or how to sieve the truth from lies. That's why I do some of my videos. That's why I do most of my videos. To speak for the right frame of mind of Ambazonians, share my own ideas, have that discussion going on amongst Ambazonians, so that together we can build a nation that we will be proud of in the future. I titled this video, Saving the Soul of Ambazonia. We might make all the noise. We might fight and obtain our nation. But in the midst of this battle, if we allow some elements to metamorphosize and get into the foundation of our nation without addressing them as we go along, I bet you we'll be worse than the Republic of Cameroon. We'll be worse than any most corrupt nation on earth. We must put an eye to those things and make sure that we address them squarely. Make sure, I do this because I say, let it be that someone spoke about it, or some voices that came out and spoke about it. I amplified those people's voices. They might sit in their little silos and say whatever they have to say. As the rightful frame of mind of Ambazonians, let me use this as a microphone to call to mind Ambazonians, so that tomorrow history will judge us all and make sure that we did talk about this and might need to be addressed. I was going through, we find all this craziness in this revolution because of, we allow noise to control us. We allow emotions to control reason. At times, we need to sit quietly amidst the noise and think about why are we doing this? Where are we going to? What spurred us to do what we are doing? What type of nation are we trying to build? Will it be a nation where we just allow certain ills to go by? We see today we attack like Republic of Cameroon of some certain ills, corruption, financial misappropriation, nepotism, and all the isms. We attack like Republic and make them look dirty. But we are slowly and steadily growing and grooming that element within us. We have to root it out. We have to root out those things. It has no place in Ambazonia. It has no place in a revolution. And if we don't have the bold mind to stand and talk about it and face it squarely, we will regret this. We'll be creating a cancer that's going to eat up, even if they grant us the nation, the cancer is going to eat up our nation. We must address these things. Accountability, financial misappropriation, and responsibility. We must address these things. If we don't address them, we are wasting our time. We are wasting our time. And the most painful thing, I keep on saying, I said in my last video, the most painful thing is that most of us driving this revolution, we live in the Western world. We see what the Western world is doing. We see what is happening in the Western world. The country is beautiful. Their places are good. Look, when it comes to resources, Ambazonia is richer than some of these Western nations. The only difference or ingredients that makes it different from us is accountability, fiscal responsibility. Those two That's what distinguishes them very clearly. And we look at them and we marvel at their investment, their nation. What? We can do this 10 times better than we are far more endowed with riches in Ambazonia. But if we don't address that cancer that we think is okay and is normal within us, why we struggle to build this nation, I bet you this is going to consume us and consume that nation. I will take another revolution to undo this ill. We must address all this dirt amongst us as we struggle to build this nation. Responsibility, accountability, we must address them. We are not in the banana republic. This is the 21st century. We are intellectuals and we must address this. We call ourselves intellectuals trying to run this revolution within from the diaspora. Specifically from the diaspora. Let me put it this way. I can say that's okay. Some of us, I can put it this way. I'm not throwing shade on our people back home. But I'm looking at it from a perspective of our people back home might have grown in the midst of abject corruption. Abject, how can I call it? They will have grown in the midst of abject corruption, abject financial misappropriation, in such a way that the Republic has instilled that in us, and we feel that it's a norm. But I'm addressing Ambazonians in the diaspora. Some of us living in very beautiful countries, living in good homes, driving good cars, or having key jobs, managing accounts, managing departments of companies. Some of us are financial accountants. Some of us are analysts, gurus in these companies. You know what I'm saying. If we can sit in the midst of this revolution and we see financial misappropriation going on and we don't talk about it and we consider it a norm, then I can say that we came to Europe, but Europe didn't go through us. We left Africa in the midst of corruption and came to the West, but the West hasn't gone through us. What is the difference between what is happening in this revolution and what the Republic is done to us? We must, in every sense of the way, address this issue as we move ahead. We cannot be just gambling around. Nation building is not a day's job. It's not chocolate. Some people jump into this whole thing as an opportunity to steal, to abuse our people. But some of us, we hold this responsibility. We are living in the Western world. We hold the responsibility to ensure. Let me put it this way. All of us who are living in the Western world, when you are supposed to go to work, you clock in 5-10 minutes before. You do that in some jobs, in some areas where you're supposed to clock in and clock out. You do it 3 times, you'll be fired. You have instilled that element in the Western world, and that's why the Western world functions. Why can't we transmit that same element in the nation that we're trying to build? And we sit, when we call aspects of unaccountability, financial misappropriation, some of us still don't seem. We are not seized our mind to understand that the environment that we live in, that's the same environment we want to build back home. Ask yourself this question. How people are going to put finances and resources to carry out a certain act, so a certain objective, and then we don't get the least out of that objective. You move on to the next phase. Then you want to talk, people say, oh, it's rest. They start pointing fingers at other people. Oh, it's a revolution. No. We need to address these things as we move ahead. We need to. I saw a very good excerpt. If it came from Dr. Fontaine, I would like to use this platform to blow out what I have seen him written. What he has written. I said, whatever we do yesterday will be history for us today. Whatever we do today will be history for tomorrow. Our children will read this thing and they will judge us on it. Let me go through what I saw, and I'll do a little bit of analysis on what Dr. Fontaine wrote, because it's critical. Nation building is not your okay, like the public go out of our country. No. What type of nation are we talking about? I am asking you, diasporans, look deep in your heart. Look on the aspect of accountability. What type of nation are we building? And we live in the West. I keep on crying. We live in the Western world. When they say you have to carry out a particular objective, if you don't carry it, you face losing your jobs. You face going to jail. And then we allow that type of, we define some of those things within our revolution. People swindle millions of dollars, and we sit quiet and we don't hold people to books. We have people claiming to lead this revolution. We ask them their roadmap. They cannot present it. What type of education have we acquired in the West? What type of education have we acquired in the West? I'm talking to you diasporans. It is not even, when I talk and I say PhDs or doctors, it is not even the PhD or the holders or doctors or whatever. Not all people who have PhDs are holding very top ranking positions, managerial positions, director positions, running financial institutions in the Western world. Not all of them. And Ambazonians have traveled across the US. The type of positions that Ambazonians hold in the industries of the Western world, you cannot believe it. Very, very top ranking position. Intellectuals, directors, managers. Some of them manage, I can call it health institutes. Some of them manage financial institutions. We cannot sit and we will look at what is happening as far as financial misappropriation is concerned, and we don't talk about it, we don't address it, we don't root out this evil and allow it to fester in this community, this revolution, and want to transcend this type of thing back home. No, it will sink in the Atlantic Ocean. We have to address those things now. We have to address those things now. Nation building is not just pushing the republic out of the nation, but what type of nation, the type of nation that we're trying to build. Accountability and fiscal responsibility is key to this. We must inject and imbibe in it. If you put a dime here, you must see the outcome. If you don't see the outcome, you go to jail. Here in the Western world, we have Madoff, this Madoff guy who carried out the financial scam. He is rotting in jail. In the Western world, if you are a government, there's misappropriation of financial or something happen, evil happen in your government, you go to jail, or you step down and you go to jail. That is what we are talking about. We cannot sit by and allow financial or fiscal misappropriation to keep on taking place in front of our faces. I will not say anything about it. We left Africa. Let's say the colonial masters, they injected corruption amongst us. They injected, how do you call it, chronic cancerous corruption amongst us for their own benefits. We live now in the Western world, and we live in their systems. When it's 8 o'clock, you clock in at 8, you put in your hours, you get out at 5. No more, no less. When you give you a budget to manage a department, at the end of the day, you produce your financial report. They give you are those who travel, you move with a cart. Those who do jobs that they move around the places, you move with your cart. At the end of the month, you present your financial report statement. That is how the West works. Then we will sit amongst us and we'll see people who will take millions of dollars laid out for a particular project. They don't execute it, and we say it's fine. We are defending. What are we defending? And we say we live in the West. Let me go through what Dr. Fontaine wrote, because I would like to talk. I like to analyze what he has written. It's a very beautiful piece, a masterpiece. This is what we call the soul of Ambazonia. It's being ripped apart slowly and steadily. And I will say that at the end of the day, this same attitude, this same thing, that is what is making some people skeptical. They are scared of the nation we are trying to build. If we don't know, you cannot sit in our midst and you take money. And do we think that the Westerners are not following this revolution? They read the books. They want to see your attitude, your reaction. They don't want to form a collapsed state from the birth. Let me go to what I'll read it piece by piece, and I'll end it with one excerpt that I saw Dr. G he sent out. Most people will surely have that short attention span to go through what he said. I'll also use it to expatiate on what he has put in place. Because today, if we free, let's say like the body leaves our country today, and we carry this bad element where people have stolen money and we want to take that same people, and they are thinking that we have to see that dirt and throw it aside. The nation building, we have to start addressing those things now. Now we must address those things now. It's a long piece written by Dr. Fontaine. He coins his write-up, "The Wedge in Our Struggle." My people, there are a number of things that the enemy has done to us through these fellows to systematically disrupt our struggle or restoration quest. They killed trust in leadership. That's point number one. By propping up dishonest guys in our midst, the likes of Nkongo, and other bunch of frauds, the likes of the Sarkos, the likes of Chris Anos. When you try to puncture the ill, you try to puncture the lies that they peddle, what they do is what? Smear campaign. Even Dr. Fontaine himself has suffered the effect of this. In this same type of in this type of attitude, this behavior. By propping up dishonest guys in our midst, the act of smearing honest people and making them look untrustworthy is by far the deepest cut. Yeah. When you create an impression about somebody that is not what the person is. Like, look at the people who are suffering in jails. How to call him? Sisiko. People painted him as he is trying to sell out the revolution. This guy is dying in jail. And people are saying, look at how they painted him black. And his cabinet smeared him completely to create the impression that he's about to sell out the struggle and demonize us in front of us. The same type of element that they implicated how to call it, Dr. Yabacho, the same type of this point addresses him. Talk of that he went to sell oil. Sell what oil? And it was orchestrated by Ambazonians from the diaspora. This is not going to speak well in our nation, the nation that we're trying to build. It will not happen. No wonder we no longer trust anyone. Those who can drive this struggle have crumbled under the bullets of unverified calumny. So when a good idea comes from them, we pull up the smear and use the stench to disqualify its proponent. Then the bad guy continues to shout, "Fellow Ambazonians, no plan on how to move forward except banning and sowing division. Simple tactic." And that is the reality. We have to call it the way it is. There is nothing like we are. Create a counter narrative, create something similar to it, weigh down the good ideology, weigh down, like for instance, the container force suffered the same effect. It's just from its creep, it was shattered. All other projects, I'll list them piece by piece. And the people who are, we know that we see it. We have to open up our minds and stop being too gullible. Point number 2, disunity amongst the leadership, so that no constructive action can be taken against La Republic of Cameroon. They only agree when the action will not favor us. They only agree when the action will not favor us. See the Swiss initiative. They were already exposing our fighters to the Swiss and pushing everyone into their luggage. When the plan leaked and the trip by the LGA chairman to Switzerland was aborted. And then people come and say that the Swiss initiative, people stalled the Swiss initiative. All the exposure of the Swiss initiative, they backpedaled. And now, those same elements, they are spitting venom to destroy the revolution. Because their promises, what they promised them, and because they thought they would be the ones to drive this whole thing through. And they were being led into funneling us and taking us back to the Republic of Cameroon. When those things were exposed, their normal punching back, blame him always, blame the AGOVC, blame Dr. Yabacho, blame other people. Despite the fact that we said, from the AGOVC standpoint, we need to bring in another person if he's transparent and genuine. We need to bring in another person as another party from the Republic, from our own territory, from our own end. The Norwegians. We also needed to bring in, how do we call it? We also wanted like we to commit How do you want to go and be talking amongst yourselves when the person that you have the problem with, you are not, they are not committed. They have not yet committed. We wanted to see commitment from the Republic of Cameroon, and I will bring in another party that is our own choice. Let's sit and talk. Why did it stall? Because it was a fraud. And all the goodies and promises that they gave to those people who were trying to push us into this amongst ourselves, the people amongst us, it backfired. What next? They used their loudspeakers. They used their Cameroon calling or the Ambazonia calling to tarnish the image of the AGOVC and the ADF and other good, meaningful Ambazonians who also saw the scam. That's what Dr. Fontaine is calling here. They exposed our fighters. Some of them were killed in the field. Most of the fighters were killed during that period. That was a massive brainwashing scheme that would have brought our liberation struggle crashing. But because people of rightful mindset, the vanguard of this revolution stood up and said it's not going to happen. And they were just happy to go and see Switzerland, not knowing that it was a satanic plot. Anything that has connection with France is deadly and toxic and poisonous. Still yet, some people claim to have understood how the world dynamics function, but their behavior and attitude in this revolution still shows that they don't follow through. They don't follow. They don't know what is happening. They don't know how the world is run. They don't know how the world functions. They don't know that France has its proxies. We look for genuine neutral bodies like the Norwegians to come and participate in the Swiss initiative. Why did they refuse it? Why did it stall? Because it was a fraud. But then some of Ambazonians, because they were trying to cook them into with better promises, the partnership with them, and then they were trying to attack us. They attacked the AGOVC and the ADF and other well-meaning people. 4. Egoism and a love for money have driven a wedge between us and our goal. Why would someone remind everyone offering to mediate about money owed by him by the Republic at this time? Why would someone remind anyone offering to mediate about money owed him by the Republic at this time? We know him. We'll call it very clearly. Dr. Akwanga. He talked of his money being owed by the Republic of Cameroon. The Republic of Cameroon owed his money. He had to pay his money. Money in the heart of a revolution. That shows you can easily buy them off. Why would someone even place a financial precondition for holding talks? Financial precondition. Why would someone lie that he has the largest force on the ground and use that to position himself as a power broker before the Swiss? Why would a group of people decide against expert advice to sign away to the Swiss their right to a multilateral mediation format? Why would Southern Cameroonian politicians accept Swiss money to go from UK, Canada to the US advertising the Swiss initiative to the exclusion of the European Institute for Peace? To the exclusion of it. An EU-funded organization? These questions beg for answers. Disrupting fundraising projects. This has been the core. Fellow Ambazonians, this has been the core of this revolution. I will see those patterns. I will list it when I read what Dr. Fontaine beautifully writes. He beautifully puts this. I'll read this and I'll put it out, laying it piece by piece. Because there are people who analyze this revolution in the midst of chaos. We can easily point out the craziness in our revolution and redirect our people to move towards the right direction. Let me read what Dr. Fontaine says. Disrupting fundraising projects is a major scheme to render the struggle bankrupt, apart from embezzlement. So we have embezzlement and disruption of fundraising. I'll finish and list out all the disruptions that we have faced. Every time a seemingly viable fundraising initiative is laid out, they too will do theirs and distract the public that is already wary of bickering. They cause the public to transfer their stigma on it. And when the momentum dies, They abandon theirs and then move to the next project. See the bonds, the pins, and other financial ideas. Let me come to this. This is actually a strategy being applied to this revolution. I'll list out all what has been done so far. Listen, fellow Ambazonians. I will list out all what has been done so far. And you will see the scheme. You will see how they have a well-crafted. Let me just read it off. Let me just say it off mine. They started. Let me put it this way, Ambazonians. When the egg of C started this whole project of, when the egg of C started this whole project of self-defense, when we talked about self-defense, what happened was this. They initiated the pathway of peaceful negotiating of our way out of our niche of the Republic of Cameroon. They took the law firms. They took the law firms that were going to use, even with the expert advice. They took the law firm. They said we're going to negotiate our way through the legal systems out of this whole mess. Resource that was supposed to have been diverted towards self-defense was put onto the law firm. What was the outcome? We spent over $100,000 and counting on that law firm. That's money that's worth 50 acres on the ground. It died off. The idea of citizenship levy, it picked up. What was the outcome? What was the purpose? What was the goal? The objective of raising citizenship what was being considered when we were doing citizenship levy? The money went like that. We can't account for that money. No prospective projection of anything coming up. The next project, let me put it this way, that the ADF egg of C, they kept on trying to build their forces. What was the counter? I sat in Minnesota here. When the ADF already had about 300 to 400 fighters being trained in Dadi, and some were also being trained in the creeks. I sat in Minnesota on the 1st of October 2016. I sat in Minnesota here where we assembled ourselves together. People talk of self-defense. I got up and I asked Ambazonians. We already have a platform. We have a blueprint. We have people being trained already. Direct more of our boys to those camps. Let the money that we raise over $40,000 and counting. One day, one sitting in Minnesota. Put that money into the hands of the ADF. Let's work together. You bring in all the boys. Let's put all a collective initiative. Let's build a national force. What happened? They tried to reinvent the wheel. That money was never accounted for. No training took place. The money went like that into water. No accountability. Us, in the AGOVC and the ADF bodies and some well-wishers, we raised what we could. We put in the money in the field, started training our boys. We have videos, evidence. How do you call it? The previous deputy Calvi. We have videos, evidence. We trained our boys. They were not just picked up and put on the streets. They were trained. Meanwhile, all that was going on slowly. People were also looking for other schemes to run parallel schemes with what was working. They came up with DOD. Where is the DOD? Where is DOD? The AGOVC has stood its test of time. I mean, the ADF has stood its test from the inception of self-defense till now. And Ambazonians, they see it. What else do you want? You see what works. The ADF has been battered, but they rise up stronger. They build the best and the finest in our land. We built General Ivor. We built Fiango. We built Efang. We built nearly all those generals in the field that you see them, some of them coerced by money. The ADF is still standing till today. What is the most relevant and lethal force that we have in the territory? The ADF. They created a parallel scheme of the DOD to counter the ADF. With all the heavy financial support that they pumped into it, and the fraud and financial misappropriations, the ADF survived the test of time. We didn't just survive, we survived with training, we survived with actions. The first pop, the first, IED, improvised devices that was put in our territory and exploded from abroad was done by the ADF structures in Bamenda. In Bamenda, the ADF had the capability right at inception. Despite the parallel narrative that they created to undermine the AGOVC ADF, we were not fighting for we were not contending with other people. We look at the nation, the beast that is facing us, to destroy it. People never had that tenacity to do what the ADF was doing. They couldn't measure up with the ADF. What was our default? Destroy it. If you can't do it, you cannot do it. We'll fight and kill from within. It didn't stop. It continued with those parallel schemes. The ADF and the AGOVC came out with a project. The project to generate Never Again campaign, supported by Pache, the AK project, raised monies for those projects. Just the die-hard core ADF people raised the money. We spoke to Ambazonian people. What happened? At the same time, they created a parallel project called My Trip to Boya, intended to raise funds specifically because the project we were running was to buy AK. It was clear. Operation buy AK and buy RPGs and put in all the 13 counties in our land. It's a clear project that we asked from Ambazonians. They created that same parallel project. Where did the finances end up? At least the AGOVC ADF, we have the finance, we have the books. We have the books that backs up what we did. We have the materials that we presented to the Ambazonians. They saw AKs in our territories randomly, rampantly. And that helped to stir up the burnings that took place in 2017, 20 slowed down seriously because of those guns that we put in our territory. Like people knew that they are already meeting they are already contending with a force in the land that could match them with materials and weapons. Nothing was presented with that on that counter narrative of destroying all the funds. Good project. They derailed the funds, millions of dollars. And people don't, when others ask for accountability for the funds that Ambazonians raised for that, the question we hear from other people, particularly those in abroad, that's a shocking and disturbing thing, is that did you contribute for that money? You taxed Ambazonians, took their money, you ate it, you built your houses, bought your houses, invested in financial schemes. And when other Ambazonians, when we ask within the revolution that what did you do to the money, you say that we have no right to, people don't have any right to ask. I don't need to put a dime to ask for that money. We've said that the AGOVC ADF has its books. If you want to see what they have been doing, despite the fact, the evidence that we have on the materials that we buy, if you want to see what you have been doing, bring your accountant. Bring in your accountant and look at our books. We're always open for that. And we have evidence of what we ask Ambazonians to give us, our friends and well-wishers, they give us, and we present it. That has been the driving force behind the ADF and the AGOVC. I'm just talking about the parallel schemes going on. They started the PIN project. That did not have a parallel. The PIN project, then we heard of other people coming up with other schemes like bonds. Why didn't you support the PIN project? Why didn't you support the Amber coin? Amber Coin came in with the PIN project. You created a similar, no, not the PIN project, the Amber Coin came up. You created a similar narrative of Amber Coin, the bonds. Why didn't you support and put all the weight on the Amber Coin? But you created a bond. That's a distortion. That's what Dr. Fontaine is diagnosing. When the PIN project came up, we sat here and showed the guns that we bought, tanking Ambazonians. They went around, our forces went around delivering the materials to their various subgroups, empowering them, encouraging them. The way that they had to decapitate the PIN project was to catch that particular unit, the best of the best in Ambazonia, and kill them out of jealousy to destroy the PIN project. We talked about the contender forces. A force that the platform was meant to bring all forces together. What did they do? They didn't have a parallel, but they worked extremely hard to smear it, undermine it, create all sorts of smear campaign around it to destroy it. We is coming from within us. Good initiatives being killed by us, some of us. Now we come up with the www.ttof.net Takeover Fund project. What are we hearing? The dark project. Operation AK by Apache was also paralleled by the NAC project. Those are things that you see within this evolution. Ambazonians, I tell you people, support this. This is one of the things that we have the capability. We need you to be on board. We have a roadmap. Those people, I keep on asking you, what is the roadmap that those other people have? The AGOVC and the ADF presents a roadmap. They tell you what they intend to do with your money, and they do everything to deliver. Do you just support certain things because you want to support them? And we find ourselves in the Western world? It's really despicable. It's disheartening. And the most painful thing is that some of us are living in the Western world and we see this type of stupidity. Let me finish up. Those who will be patient to listen. The lure of power and a desire to exercise corrupt influence. Even some of the IG converts in the diaspora are easily brainwashed because of the temptation of corruption. Many of them see themselves as emerging Bulu Beti clan when we restore our independence. They are already positioning themselves, thinking that they're going to govern our nation. No diaspora will rule Ambazonia for the next 5 generations of rulers in our country. None. You will not hold any strategic position. None. With this type of mindset that some of us have exhibited, we are not going to hold any position. That will be an unspoken law. We think that we are positioning ourselves to go and reap the benefit of this revolution. Sorry. All the next 5 generations of Ambazonians that are going to rule and take strategic position in the country are those who bleed on the ground. Diasporans, you have a disgrace. Thinking that you're going to position yourself and become whatever. That's why you see some of these people called local LGA leaders. Some position themselves, they think that they already coin themselves, I'm this, go and rule Ambazonia. It's not going to happen. All our leaders in Ambazonia will come from within territory. So they use that to make their communities and families believe that as future ministers and LG chairmen in Southern Cameroon, they will have more benefits and influence than others. Greed. Let them show us the blueprint or the strategy that will take us to Boya. There is no strategy. There is no position. You sit and you say you are LGA. How do you take us from point A to point B? I'm saying that the ideology to free our nation is a national force. The ADF has the blueprint. We will not go anywhere without that particular how to call it, we will not have a nation if we don't have the national, the mindset of creating a national force. We will not, with this mentality of, let me put it this way. They talk about, how you call it, county by county. It came from Eric, who himself found himself being hoodwinked by this so-called the peak system that he's trying to tear completely apart. They hoodwink him. If you could not put 2 and 2 to understand that, if you could not put 2 and 2 to understand these people were frauds, and then they bought into his county by county, and there is no roadmap, how do you affect that to the end to come up with results? You cannot present it. You cannot prove it. You don't have. How do you bring that to fruition, to freedom? When we talk about the idea and the ideology of creating a national force, a force that can move across the territory, a force that you can move from certain areas that you own your land and strike hard at the heart of the enemy and fall back. That's how we decapitated the Republic of Cameroon at the early phase of this revolution. The notion of county by county is not working because they'll pick certain counties, pound them, leave them, pound them, leave them, pound and leave them, hit you to stone age. By the time you come back, before you recover, it will take about 20 years for you to recover. And that's the strategy that Republic is using now. But when the notion of a national force, it becomes pretty difficult because the forces are fluid. They move from other areas. You cannot pick them. You cannot pinpoint where they are. And that has been the policy. You might have some residual force in certain areas, but the notion is that you have a fluid force moving across the territory and acting. That is the blueprint. We don't sit behind and we make things up. We pull it out from Ambazonians and said, this is what works, and we have exercised it, we have tried it, we have tried it time and again. He came up with the notion of country. Look, it boiled down to tribalism. Something that we have been trying to fight and get out of. They took us right deep into that deep shit. But the ideology of a national force is still there. It is rocking and it's going stronger and stronger. And it's going to attain the independence that we're talking about. If you're talking about somebody who brought up something that he doesn't even believe again in his thing. He doesn't even believe in his own thing that he brought up. And he was hoodwinked. Then you still believe in that. We've seen that degenerate. You go in there, you hear in Salt where a person in Noni would say that I don't want to see people pass from Oko coming to through Noni. Can you imagine that? That is the consequences of this county by county. That's how it has degenerated to that level. People attacking other tribes now. Look at what is happening in the southern zone, where a whole tribe was burned down completely by us. Amongst us. Those are the fallout of the county by county. But we will buckle up and the area will put this thing to its right course. We are still on the national plan. It is picking up steam. I will continue on that part. We will not be derailed. Dr. Fontaine ends. Number 6. Killing or disarming their own fighters cannot be excused on any grounds. Is it surprising that we have lost more of our elite soldiers to our own bullets than to the Republic of Cameroon? That's the truth. From liver to lake, we go from lake, liver, sleazy, Godfather, Smalley, Honorable General Ivor, all of them killed by us, Ambazonians. Nginyam. Now we're talking about the 23 in Salt. And a host of others. For what? You have a segment of people that since they laid hand on this revolution, it has been blood. We've been drinking our own blood. Drenching in our own blood. From Momo to Kom to Bui. Now we're here in Meme. Since the inception of this particular arm of these people in the Ambazonian struggle, we have bled. And the bleeding comes from within us, not from the Republic of Cameroon. After commissioning Nambere to eliminate some of his peers, it was time to do away with him so that all traces could be wiped. But he preferred to surrender to the enemy than to succumb to the bullets of his own people. He confided his ordeal to those who were ready to listen. This is a familiar scenario which the Restoration Force do not yet understand. Many who sensed danger have fled the resistance because they don't know when the order of their execution will come from within. Others have been captured because their position was deliberately leaked to the enemy. Who does that? Does the mass execution of the Bui 23 tell us anything? In all, I have traveled around this country and met different people who have complained about the manner in which they were robbed in broad daylight and lamented the general state of things. They told me how they were harangued into donating thousands of dollars for diplomatic trips, which never happened. In others, Irene personally went there and collected 12,000 cash, and when the community asked for a receipt, it became a brawl. Some communities have not recovered from the financially induced coma caused by these buccaneers. I challenge all those hiding in WhatsApp groups or Facebooks wearing aliases to come to the public debate to explain their plan for the restoration, if there is any, and stop using subterfuge to deceive our people. If you cannot diagnose a disease, then you cannot treat it. Denying these facts is denying like LRC that our people don't have any problem. Any man who does not know and knows what he does not know is willing to learn, and knows that he does not know is willing to learn. Teach him. Any man who does not know and knows not that he does not know is a fool. Shun him. We should now understand why for 2 years we have been spinning in the same spot and claiming that we are on course. Having run out of arguments, they claim that it is because some people don't use the name Ambazonia and so it affects the struggle. Lame excuse. With all what is going on, ask yourself again, are these people truly taking us to Boya or Golgotha? Fontem Liba, scholar and freedom fighter. It was a long and beautiful read. You know, at times some of us see the truth and we don't confront it directly. We try to shy away, thinking that we are going to get around it, and then we are going to succeed. No, we have to call what is not working and make sure that we talk about it. You know, the question is this: someone stands and lies to you people that they are discussing Ambazonia in a decommissioning committee or whatever, and you people, they lied to you when they were exposed. They went after those who exposed them. Meanwhile, they were lying to the Ambazonians, and some Ambazonians still believed them. Stole money for my trip to Boya. Could not explain for it, and Ambazonians still believed them. Went to county by county, collected monies there, unaccounted for. People still believe them. How do you train your forces? You have forces that are being killed every day, massacred because you don't train them. You jump into a business that you don't know anything about them. About how to call it? Anything you don't know anything about guerrilla warfare. You put our children on harm's way, and some dumb Ambazonians still believe them. You use your microphone, you scream, kill other Ambazonians. You shout, destroy the ADF, ban AMF, destroy Sokadef. When you silence the gun of all these core groups, who is going to fight the battle in our land? And Ambazonians listen to that and they don't ask the simple question: why are you banning forces that are fighting for our independence? Do you ban them and replace them? No. Do you ban them and create forces that are better off than them? No. When you ban them, they don't want to ban. You send now. You use the money that you collected for what for my county by county to go kill them. Those who refuse to be disbanded by your commands, with your loudspeaker. But you don't present forces that are supposed to be fighting the enemy. Who are you fighting for? I call you the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse amongst us, implanted to destroy us from within. You look at people like, you look at the Swiss, when the Swiss fraud was exposed, what did you see people, because they could articulate and have a good voice? What do you see the likes of Bo Haber do? Destroy the ADF try to destroy this. He now joined the chorus to destroy the ADF and the AGOVC. The people who implemented self-defense, started self-defense, defending our people, now they are tagging that same group as working for the enemy. The people who nurtured the gods. You look at images of General Ivor. This guy who went around in communities, mobilizing communities from the grassroots, under the banner and structure of the AGOVC and the ADF. You turn around and say those people are working for the Republic of Cameroon. Shamelessly. No ounce of decency. The same person that you call him, you sit with him. I'm talking about you with Bo Herbert. You sit with Dr. Ebacho in moment upon moment, occasion upon occasions. Even before they were trying to even create a sort of unity platform, Dr. Ebacho refused and told Tsitsi that if I don't see Bo Herbert, I don't see Akonga sit together with me, I can't make those decisions because all key players have to be together on board. You sit together with him, you create the arc, and you turn around and say that he's working for the enemy. Shamelessly. You turn around and you say that he creates forces that are counter-revolutionary. The same guy who built forces, gave pride to Ambazonians. The same guy who masterminded his organization, masterminded the march of October 1st for the past 2 years in defiance of the enemy, marching. Who except General RK, which other force organization organized the march of October 1st in our territory? Which one? Tell me. The same people who are defying the enemy and saying that we have a nation, we have a national day, we march, we put our forces on the line, we put our people, we protect our people, we march and tell the world that we exist as a nation. The same AGOVC, ADF, you turn and shun around and say that they work for the enemy. What have you contributed in this revolution? Except smearing other people whom you think and you undermine, and you feel that you would have loved to be him. And Ambazonians buy that. Look, let me put out one thing. You have spin doctors like the Bo Herberts. They'll take a real truthful scenario and spin it. At times when you look at the ingenuity that he has to tell lies, it boxes your imagination and really disturbs you, and look at him and say, how can human beings be so callous and wicked? The ADF, let me be very clear about one thing. The ADF had a scenario that occurred. I will talk about this. We had a scenario that occurred in Mani, the axis of Mani, where people disguised as ADF wanting to join the ranks, one of our ranks in Manu, claiming to have come from Bui. The coordinators of Manu called me and asked, do you have guys moving toward that area? I said, no. Round them up. And just for us to pick them and discover that they were the enemy forces, trying to infiltrate our own ranks in that area. But Bo Herbert had that information later on. He decided to turn that story down and claim that we are the part of the government, part of the Republic of Cameroon. I want to ask Ambazonia this question. When you saw General Ivor mobilizing for the communities, forces going around in the southern zone and northern zone, when you see General Efan going, talking to the community, he was in Pinyin, he was in, he was in Benakuma and the rest, engaging in the population, talking with the population, explaining to them things, helping forces out. When you see them doing that, and you sit and listen to this type of people trying to smear such a force. What do you think? What is their mission in this revolution? What are they up to? The same organization that has given Ambazonia pride, made the world to know that we have a nation. We can march on our national day. We have a military that has a uniform and that takes responsibility for its action to push out the enemy. That is your force. That is your national force that they are trying to destroy. Take it out of this revolution, is over. But we will die to maintain it and to fight for our freedom. We are prepared for that. With this, fellow Ambazonians, you put in your money for citizens' levy without any plan. They take over fund, TTOF.net. There's a plan. And we tell the people that we want to stop these people on their tracks coming to our areas, our villages, to cause carnage. We come to you, Ambazonians, we tell you we have a plan. We've shown you what we can do. That's why we come to you people. We keep on requesting and asking you people. Our freedom is a collective effort. Put in your money in TTOF.net. Do a, how do you call it, monthly subscription. You will keep on seeing the effect of what your contribution is going to bring. We didn't come to you telling that, oh, put your money here for support to support us. We have a specific project. And we clearly state that it's going to stop these people on their tracks moving into our land. It's going to undermine their efforts to go through our territory. We make all those things clearly known before we even ask you. We have a project. We come with a plan. We put it in front of Ambazonians. Which other organization does that? Which organization does that? Coming up with a plan, military plan, telling you people that this is what we need to do. And then you see it happening. The fact that we don't have a big microphone to come scream around the place, you see the effect, the result of what we are doing. We showed you people a prototype of what we are capable of doing in Bamenda not long ago. That shook the governor of Northwest Province. That colonial governor terrorizing our people. We showed you what we can do. Support this project and let's get our land going. Let's get our land back. And as we move forward, we will fight to the. There will be a revolution within a revolution on accountability and financial misappropriation. We will fight that within this. That cancer will never metamorphosize into our land. Never. We will not create a land that will be worse than the Republic of Cameroon. Financial misappropriation and accountability, we must make sure that we inject that in our revolution. Let me end up this by playing what Dr. G has. Most people have not listened to it, most people have listened to it, but I would like to just put in my voice in this. It's a very good piece.
My contributor, hello to good morning. This is our brother Dr. G. This morning I just want to come reflect about the Southern Cameroon Ambazonia with the building particularly on the back of the last series of outings and the continuous regulations to it they come out. I want to talk about institutions of restraint, institutions of governance, and the people that hold those institutions. In the scenario of a post-conflict reconstruction, would you hope say we'll get to a place where we fit establish various institutions and for inside the new dispensation where it will hold administrators them accountable? And I just want to explain them from the perspective of an economist. Say institutions them like sum total of the laws and the norms and the values that govern a society. You get formal institutions and informal institutions. Formal institutions and institutions that they get mechanisms of enforcement, like your legal system, courts of law, where you fit sue person for enforce a contract, where you fit hold person accountable to the performance of his administrative functions. And inside a country like South Africa, you get a series of institutions, they call them Chapter 9 institutions. For example, you get an independent police investigative directorate, where a mission for investigate abuses of power by police officers then, who are supposed to be enforcing the law, but you have on the side an institution like that that masters the code of ethic of that force and creates a mechanism where abuses of power can be reported. You get also the public protector office, where it be an independent entity where it go after any person for abuse of power and state resources, whether you be president or you be minister, or you get ministerial ethic handbook and so on and so forth. So individuals and stakeholders and civil society, private sector, any person will lay a complaint towards you as a public official, and public protector get the obligation to investigate whether you be liable or not. In fact, recently President Cyril Ramaphosa be taken for this taken up by this institution for investigate a campaign financing, and they take them up to the point where the institution release a report, an indicting report, where of course it shows that the president received strange funds, and it called for a formal investigation. So those institutions that only thrive inside a community. Now when the community, the own set of norms and values then represent which those institutions stand for different. So you get formal institutions and informal institutions. The informal institutions are the code of ethics, the trust, the social compact, the understanding where you don't be within a society as far as which they consider honorable and which they consider dishonorable. It requires a combination of formal and informal institutions for be able to produce, which would ever call and say, we want strong institutions and not strong men. To put them differently in a westernized society, inside the mind of a German person, honesty they get a very high premium. So if you get German institutions the way they go investigate corruption, and they go one sue person for corruption, and that because they get a collective understanding say corruption be wrong. Okay, obviously the exceptions here and there. Inside the mind of the average American administrator, honesty and abuse of power is a source of outrage. Now why that you see say they go one bring all these investigations against Trump for abusing his power, for soliciting a favor while in performance of high office. Their expectation is say inside their society, inside the psyche of their society, it will create outrage. I just want to use this simple example then for emphasize the fact say when you get a society where you get those norms, not informal institutions, and that the informal institutions they reinforce the formal institutions, because when the expectation they say the commander-in-chief, President Trump, no get for abuse the office or the seat favors against the political campaign, any person where they go blow the whistle in that kind of a context, they expect a societal outrage, because they get a collective understanding, say anybody who does that is wrong. And they expect, say, you will be able to pursue an investigation where if you fit demonstration and things that it don't happen, then the person will be sanctioned. That informality in terms of the societal's moral standard and ethical values is what makes institutions strong. When you bring this very reality inside an African society, you go look at our African traditional societies. Now, the characteristics of African traditional societies that say we don't really get the kind of institutions of enforcement. But with society that they work, if you see the way our foreign policy can be organized, we'll get a certain set of acceptable norms. For formal institutions, the might of the law and the institutions of the state, not the enforcement mechanism, police you can catch you go lock up, they take you go court, judge you, put you for prison, down the enforcement mechanism. For traditional societies, then get something similar, but from earlier on, we don't really get that kind of police where they can arrest you, go lock you. We don't really get those kinds of similar kind of formal institutions of enforcement. But we get norms. and values, traditional values and expectations, customs. They don't be handled down from generation to generation, by which those societies then be run. Now, why don't we enforce some kind of country? Sunday then we'll get our own way, then through traditional way, the institute them, usually to go out, fund the dog, they send out town crier. But you see, say, it's our local traditional society then we get enforcement where it be the same kind of formal enforcement, but it is strive. Why? Because that society accept and submit to that norm. So that's the way if you do and for village to banish and it make another society it function smoothly because like collective acceptable norms again for function. So another that make we deceive ourselves. In the absence of certain norms of integrity and morality and upholding the general good and respect for the public purse, the formal institutions of it perform that duty. Now, why did a country like Cameroon, like Republic of Cameroon, they in such a disarray? Because they get laws. Don't get me wrong. They get the best kinds of laws that you should imagine for anywhere in a society of that nature. But the absence of enforcement, why those laws do not produce the result that they have been set up to produce is because the values within the society is not backed by the laws. You need a combination of formal and informal institutions for be able to make sure, say, whatever you hope laws to produce in a society stand. Otherwise, the values will always prevail. Now, why that the values in the British Cameroon now for celebrate embezzlers, when person go get government contract, cut half, bribe 100 people, then take the rest, buy himself a trip to Paris, go spend, come back. When he come back, inside his own family, it's a celebrity. Inside his own community of friends, it's a celebrity. So get a disjoint between the formal and the informal institutions. The informal institutions for Cameroon are for celebrate criminals. When person don't go buy, we enter in them, come out inside them, they be posted as an administrator. He work all around, all man the key cafe. He go to the village, go to the court plantation and go key. Where they know very well, see this guy, he buy his way to that position, go be posted, go to celebrate them. Once again, the informal institutions and the values that we uphold them as a society, that the values the way we go prevail on top society. When the minister embezzle money, when the minister come down for come do campaign, person where his salary is 900,000, they come enter inside community, divide 10 million one time. People they take that money, chop, do other things, and then unless sorry, unless you get a situation where the person fall out politically, you get away with. Now I don't think this is very.
I know say other friend my tapang about their life. But I'll continue this thing of finishing. Now the same mindset because I talk about the conscience of Ambazonia. We conscience the soul of Ambazonia. We no go take this type of mindset go down for revolution inside Ambazonia. It no go happen. It no go happen. You go declare your assets. You look people that don't get extremely rich. People who had nothing at the onset of this revolution. Just as a step into the revolution, you don't see some, they don't get unnecessary wealth from, and it transcends right down to the soldiers on the ground. It disrupts, it erode the revolution from below. If you don't get leaders, if it proves, if you work money, put them for the revolution, but you get people the way they need to work, the revolution, they pay them. You support that type of element. It be disturbing. It be seriously disturbing. Then you look at body, man calls one thing, you look at boy like Egg of CADF. Nobody pays a dime. There's nobody living on a salary on somebody. They put the top on the so-called big IG. This one, his money, the flow, the house, the rent, everything. And when you ask, what have you produced? Nothing to show for. Nothing to show for. And we call it and we think it's comfort, it's okay. We will not. That will be something that we are going to die for again in Ambazonia. Unaccountability and theft. We will not take it to that country. We must build that nation, but we will flush out these things. Now I finish this audio. I talked to you about them.
And of course, Nigeria established branch of economies. I don't give this very brief understanding of the difference between formal and informal institutions. But make me understand, say, the success of this one revolution, it be entirely dependent not only on the formal institutions that we hope to create, which is in most instances for post-conflict reconstruction, it's a copy and paste. People typically just go get a series of consultants and they can create a kind of judiciary system, create a kind of legislative system and a kind of executive way they feel say be more suitable. But the success and the strength of those institutions and will eventually get to be like a reflection of our values. Now, why that on the back of this revelation of the way Eric Catalovic, now the real challenge that about the kind of Southern Cameroon Ambazonia will build up.
Yep.
Now, to determine whether the society will be built in a society where we will celebrate people the way they be thief, like society where we will celebrate people the way they go misuse state resources, then come back and inside our community, we still call the president. Now, society whether we will establish them as a standard norm. Say, person will do anything that dishonorable. Naturally, they could not say a community don't vomit him. And they could do it, the honorable thing of his own accord to step down, for talk say, okay, I don't fall into temptation or I don't fall short of the expectations of public officials then. And I want to make this community know, say, even though I don't personally violate our collective source of norm and ethics, maybe the values that we want to promote them at the level of governance. So maybe I'll go withdraw for send the signal, say, okay, we must maintain the standards.
If you call yourself the leader or a head of the so-called government, we don't even think will be disruptive for this revolution. If you know me to be objective as a head, you take that responsibility. You step down. And the same thing will happen for the Western world. And some of us who will see this type of fraud. We know the call I'm out. Who thinks it be okay. Who thinks it be normalize them amongst Ambazonians. What to make we different from like the Republic of Cameroon if you want to normalize this kind of attitude. What to make the nation 1 billion go be different from Cameroon, it could be worse. And it be worrying because the Westerners are watching it. Some of this don't come out from some of their write-ups. They do watch them. They see what it go on. It could be disturbing. They don't want to create a failing nation. They don't want me a failing nation erupt from amongst us. Where you go, look, now the 21st century this, it be driven by interest, it be driven by corporations. And no government no go support a bunch of people claiming to own a nation and they cannot be accountable. No corporation will even support una. You get countries in where they don't fight for independence. You see a corporation like a big giant oil industry become say, okay, well, for this and this reason, or a big giant oil company can say go support una because okay, they will get a deal at the end of the day for make sure the meeting they go correct. But if you not show the elements of accountability, responsibility, fiscal accountability, if you don't show that element, they don't come for them for invest. They go be scared. How you go invest or place with fraud? Did you think say you go be in account? No country, no one a disjointed, organization or country want a disjointed structure to come up. If we don't even show elements of fiscal responsibility, elements of a nation, if we even attract some people that will look at the case, they will not go there. Will get a bunch of people. What would they? You go take money. You know if you be account. I will not get will not get structures or systems in place, or not get the means or some sort of an effort, a concerted effort for talk say this is wrong. And some of us want support and say it be okay. You think say it be okay? So be finances may be meant for a particular purpose. If you look, Ambazonians, man makes one thing, be very clear. And also I'll get a bunch of stupid people them, but they will come for this profile, for this particular video. You no fit the thing for live like the Republic of Cameroon with this same mindset for go build Ambazonia. It no go happen. It no go happen. If you think say it be okay, say people they go thief money. They thief money and then they take the money, go down for your front. You no get any sign of accountability. You think say it be okay. Watch us. Watch us. It will be normal. So you go shit down. You thief money amongst Ambazonians. We know if account. Look, this is the one be the ambassador will not be African mindset located now. It will be colonial mindset where French people they propagate fraud. They propagate theft. We must clean our mind from that thought process. We no go build nation where you go thief. You no go for jail. You no be accountable. You no go take that element for like what the Cameroon bring as Ambazonia. It no go happen. Look, if they free Ambazonia today, the next revolution go take place in Ambazonia. Na fraud, na theft. We will kill all thief people them. We will kill all. Look, for instance, let me give you one good example. You want to look a country like Malaysia, Indonesia. You know why they be extreme? They're not as rich as us. They don't get 1/4 the wealth we get them. Malaysia, Indonesia don't be as rich as us. And some of those Eastern how do you call it? Far East Asian countries, even China, the punishment for theft, now death sentence. The punishment for unaccountability and theft, now death sentence. We go build that kind. We will not be different from we have everything that it takes to have the first world nation. I mean the elements of first world country. We not go she don't know take theft, maybe in normal of Ambazonia. It not go happen. I did ask myself, some of us will live for the Western world. We should don't for Europe, for the East or the West, diaspora. If you make an error, you no balance your account, you go jail. You thief money, you go jail. You go supposed to go work for 8 to 5. You come 10 minutes late, 20 minutes late, continuously 3-4 times, you lost your job. And if we talk so want to build a nation, we don't start from those basic things where if they ask you, say, wait you talk, you openly talk to people and say, if this thing, I do this thing, the purpose will be objective. Raise money for weapons. You know, can't even say, okay, I don't hold. They want to look on all the receipts that they produce, flights, hotel bills, good parties. What honestly, an ambassador is already shidong. So they be comfortable. They will can't cause you where you want to call out that type of evil, that malaise inside the population. For people them. You can't call that kind of malaise. You want to defend them. You defend them with it. Then I can't tell you also you want to defend them, so you get a big voice. If you talk that kind of thing, they do want to accept them. The Western world, if it things they be support me, they go see them. They go say, I will not put my support in this type of a nation. I will not support them if I'm going to build a rogue nation. I will not support them if I cannot do business with them. You take money, even if now 500,000 and be collector, or 1 million collector, you take 500,000. You forgot buy at least 200 AK. If you be even sit down for Ambazonia for land, saying that the material than this, we are buy them. You even take 500,000, but you take 500, buy 200 AK for ground. There would have been a little bit of accountability. But you not even buy the guns them for put and for down. Then some of us who live for diaspora live in a society with accountability na the base, na the core. What holds the Western world? If you're talking about, I don't talk say waiting. If you look Kagame, Paul Kagame, Rwanda, one of the best countries in Africa, would you even envy them? They are not even, they don't be 20% as rich as Ambazonia. They don't be, I mean, they don't even be 1/10 as rich as Congo. But they're one of the most admired countries for Africa. Why? Accountability. Now the core, now the bone that will build Rwanda. You must be fiscally responsible. If not, there are repercussions. That is the nation that we are going to build. No man who can start here support fraud or theft. They go ask, say, why, what you do with this money? Where you openly talk, say, you go take this money, you buy material there. The shift blames. They want cover and up. They want attack. They want bully. We will die for control, but ask for that. The soul for Ambazonia will be rest on this. Fiscal responsibility. Financial accountability. Now they first block that if we think we build a nation. Why would they run from the Republic of Cameroon? All the isms and theft. Now you want transpose and inside Ambazonia for create a nation where you go be ruled by the same way which would you run away from, and even worse. No matter how who will talk, I will die on this. I will die on this for this revolution. Even Ambazonia, they can't feel Ambazonia. In my next revolution, I will fight that. For fiscal accountability, I will fight for that one. We no go hand over or build a nation on fraud, on theft. And Ambazonia know the day. My problem, I can say, I don't openly talk. The ones that they did back home, have you talked so well because of the rotten system where we don't live in, who things may be a norm. Those of us who do diaspora, it shocked me. It really bothered me for things they would don't so they would support that kind of thing. You hear somebody fight, they die, say be okay. The least what if you do, down a theft, now go step down. Where for which organization where you lead them? The uneasy wears the head that light on the head that wears the crown. If you openly make some declaration say when I give him this money, I will take him and go boy. You not even show say you not even show say I buy this one or present material you present them. You not even show them. The next scam that say after that money finish, they take cover and up. The next thing I will start going for county by county, they attack county, they take money from other places then. You need to control them. And any reason where you want question or you want ask certain things that within them, they use probably money to kill people there. Kill people there for ground. The same ill will take place for Buya today. They go for some area. Mbulu. One of the elders in Pudi. People they control the same elements where they control the Buya warriors. They send those boys, little boys in. They go kill one of the elders in. From Mbulu. They shoot him. Because the question say if they open fire, shoot 3 women then. And they can't, the people then after the village, they ask the question, say, if we run away from this body, like body, they don't kill me. When they can't kill me again, how? The people they run the boy warriors, the likes of Elvis, they send those boys in again, they go pick the elder for that area from Bodo, they shoot them. They create now which kind of nation. We create now which kind of nation. And we allow this type of people then amongst us. We allow thieves. People that they thief, then they get big microphone to cover their thieves, their thievery. No roadmap, no plan, nothing. Wait, when the next scheme come up, they don't try to sabotage the TTOF take over form project. And when we talk, so we can't for show excepts for Amazon what we do with the money. Before we go ask. They tell us sabotage. When the next project he come, or when we don't go as far as we go, because now they attack contender force the same way. When the effort will bring all force together. So every initiative they don't do one for bring people then together. Every initiative, there is a counter. They start kill contender force from a creep. They kill it from a creep for even wake up. What will be the end? Was there an alternative? No. When they can't destroy us, so they expect some other alternative will come up. Where if it even project the revolution forward. No, they kill them. Consistently kill it. But there is no other alternative that they are presenting. Nothing. The biggest cancer for this revolution, not this peak unit, Ask them what's their roadmap. Ask them, what is your roadmap? On the contrary, I look at this Jezebel, they call her Iringwa. That is the biggest evil that has rocked, that don't cause, it don't wreck evil for Momo. Inside Momo, what will I be see? Inside Momo, what will I see? I want to show you something. I want to show you something. What Amazonians are talking about. What you talk about? Listen. The university, when I see. No come inside the brother try to build ourselves, be one, to be united. They come, the season there, one can take now, wait till they get time to go sit out. John no say no go reach your place, go down. Then gonna plenty, so they brew to now, only persevere, Joe, that come gonna. We don't get enough time on the nature of the road. And if we go and come on Saturday. So anyhow, when I say I'm gonna understand, say, I say, give a beauty, one host, we don't get time. And I don't be get no blame or anything because I call them with the other program and say with me. I change them the money time for camp here. Well, if you look how it is. So man not talk say they not prepare me or nothing. I just need to see them, then they can give me so that small more complaint. And then I will start from somewhere. This is ADF. Now the force this is a creation of the force, the grassroots mobilization. People giving other people the heart and the determination to fight for their own, to be able to raise guns and challenge the invincibility of like Holy Cameroon. Now that, but now Ambazonia and that they talk say waiting. Now they claim that the same people they want they be against the revolution. When they do all this all this movement, when the ADF they do all those things, where were they? Preaching peace. You see, I just have a show now the ask us when I think Ambazonians. Now the same people in this way, they mobilize people there from ground, grassroots, raise them up, put them together. Now the same people that they can call and say they fight against the revolution. Look, it be disheartening. I'll keep on for so pull. I want to pull out so one last stuff before I put on before I leave for now. Concerning una forces. These are the people that have been fighting. Now the people anyway they put General I for that for a community. We go to mobilize the boys them for fight. When are the same people and that way they talk, they claim say they be against the revolution with all the scandals about ADF. When I hear revelation for Jutes and Sikot now, it come out. When they hear all those things, the one for the other Sikot, it come out. But when I continue to stand behind which it destroy when they go. They pick government. And now they don't launch all the counter attack. Look.
Oh yeah. Now we don't know. Now Koraman aka Shooter Killer. Today this now.
Koraman again to this.
Confirm. When they say people
one of the best of the best, they kill them. You see how much? You see how many soldiers we've lost in the hands of these people? How many? Our own children. But we keep on looking at it and we keep on supporting what is destroying us. You come out with a notion of, oh, you are government, you are government, you are government. I will keep our point on this now because tomorrow will be a history. This is what I talk to you will be a history for you tomorrow. I want to really raise some video. The last video I put on front for let una judge for myself before I leave una go. Suppose it take me a little bit of time to raise that video. You get concerted effort, consistent effort. People they come out, they need to go attack like the Republic of Cameroon. They continuously they put forces for attack ADF. It's ADF like the Republic of Cameroon. Now then when they become a fighter. And Ambazonians in it. You go hear people, they go Ambazonians they see stand the chair for that one. It be disturbing. The people they give the courage for Ambazonians to fight the enemy. Yeah. Then they kill Koraman. They kill Koraman. All they caused the death of Amigo. Amigo begin fight together with Araki. For Bansor, they kill the best of the best soldier will bring peace and harmony amongst all the fighters. The King Ginyam. Tactfully. They execute Ginyam within 24 hours. That's the element of destruction. And you see all these things go tie down to one thing. These peak people. These peak people. And the people will point this thing because it be very critical. We'll continue for no. I want highlights on one last thing before I leave for now. It's never too late for us to get it right. It's never too late for us to get it right. But today I come purposely for still ask Ambazonians and what they did for the diaspora. We live in a society where they build their bedrock na accountability. One keep on for maintain this level of how to call them complex, inferiority complex, level of undeserving type of mindset about we as a people, as Africans. One continue to find mismanagement, poverty as a norm for society. One continue to find this element of unaccountability as a norm for society. If we rise up for kick like Republic out of the country now because of fraud, financial misappropriation, nepotism, tribalism, we fight against that one. And we will destroy that element amongst us. If you not be competent for something, you not go shoot on for any sport. And as this evolution will go on, if you not exercise that particular element, you will forget them. The egg of CADF will raise money, will ask about money for buy any materials, and will always come present them. People they see RPG or kind of territory. People they see how they call it, and we use the RPGs. And people they see guns and what kind of territory, we use the guns. And the guns they take out, people, for sure how advanced the ADF don't be. Ambazonia be so shocked for see the amount of guns and we ADF they carry, and just a portion, a fraction. Now the gun, the money that way as they put the money for down, they buy them. They buy the material for ground, they put and they go. They be so shocked. We no go build a nation, and we be accountable for every dime we Ambazonia put down for. We will show and we present them for the what they ask for them. We no go take a nation. People that will assume certain things then the thief for front, and this thing will be people that will be held accountable. I don't say there's still opposition face amongst us now, not be because of the revolution, it's because I put a fight to hide their tracks. They want to destroy them because they know very well. Say the time where we want to get independence, we will ask them. They could be held to the book for what they do with money, what they do for all anti-revolutionary activities, and we will bring them up, and they will be held accountable and we will judge them for them. If we build a nation where if they assign you any task, that one I call that one a state budget. My trip was a state budget. You pay tax, not be everywhere you pay tax for any particular thing, but you get right for ask for accountability for anything. Now a state budget that you took and you misappropriated it and you ate it. You claim all sorts of other extreme reasons. We are pulling out receipts every day of your personal business on Ambazonia money. Your house, you are this, you are that. All that money they go hold those people to book. Yes, Eric tell you create that monster. I find out you tell you expose the monster. We'll keep those things and they go hold them to book. And ambassador and assistant to say it be okay. The worst one, the one they did for out. They see claim they think some they think it be okay. They want some maybe they call it doctors and PhD holders. You know go walk that way. You know go walk that way. You know go walk that way. Fellow Ambazonians, uh, I go thank una for the ones that don't watch. And also I do a live the clash with Tapang Ivor. But the ones that keep watching, they keep watching. We go save the soul for Ambazonia. We'll make sure say fraud, fiscal responsibility. We must make sure that na the one with the biggest building block for land. And we go hold on for that level. We no go back at this. No, we no go move from that an inch from that. We must build that nation way tomorrow. You know, you thief, you go pay, you go hold on, they go jail you. I don't say nation for Eastern Asia where theft na death sentence. For China, you thief money, you die, na death sentence. You government official, you misappropriate finances, na death sentence. So we look at things like it be a norm. It will not be a norm in Ambazonia. I will make sure so we institute that particular element for Ambazonia. You thief money, you will be held responsible. Now, so those who don't thief money, we will hold you accountable and responsible. Will the start will be that nation. That nation will be the restart. We will hold make sure so you be held accountable and responsible. You don't you and your gang, we will make you follow through. Thanks, fellow Amazonians. And I just wish to talk about this issue about it be disturbing. It be very, very disturbing. Say we should don't allow theft. Me can be a norm amongst us. You know go work that way. We will fight them to the last of our ability. We give a nation way a fiscal responsibility, or fiscal means financial accountability, then personal responsibility. It will be part of that nation will be now. I know move an inch from this one. If you take government money, you must execute them. What you make like probably rotting the go. You take $10 million, you take 10 million francs for build for construct 1 kilometer road. You go end up for use now how much? Just about 2 million. The other 8 million I'm gonna put in pocket them. Then how expect will get good roads? How expect will even get good country? How expect will get farm to market will go serve everybody? They won't allow person go people to show thief money amongst you there would think it be normal. No. We will fight that one to the last bit. Theft, corruption. That one if nothing will happen, see me the kill some of us for that one. We'll fight that one. You know what happen for a country. That bad element we will see like the Republic Cameroon, no transport our country. No way. No way. We do for Western World, some of the Western World way, we know the benefit of having a transparent financial setup. They will know want to exert them for own country. We want to go hand back the continual abuse, undermining of Africans. How do you call it? Downgrading or degradation of African degeneracy. We know if we learn some good things and for you, if we transport and for own society, make me grow, be a better society. We want to go maintain the status quo. Me the suffering for what we for people continue. You know what happen? We'll fight that one to the last bit for Ambazonia. Till we'll get a free country and we'll get a decent country. We'll get a very rich country. Your wealth for the country not be measured now by the resources you get them, be measured by accountability. Congo are the richest country, they don't get war, the richest country, but they be poor because they don't get any accountability for all the resources in the country. Rwanda in a very, rich. The one don't get up to 20% of the wealth we get of Ambazonia. But look at it. We look at it like a beacon of Africa. We look at we envy Rwanda. Now because they practice fiscal accountability. Now the nation of 1 billion for country. You thief money, you go down. And what even make them maybe stringent, 100-year or even death sentence. It start now. We go for change your mindset. Get out of this mentality of things say it be okay to fraud a system of a thief for a government or thief for people then you think say it be okay. We must desist, we must kill that thought process for mind. But like we do for the Western, we must all the Western world. We live, we know what it means. We know the impact for society. You get smaller, we get bigger counties, we will be richer than them. If we instill management, financial, people management and financial responsibility for Ambazonia, I bet you people that will leave Europe can work for country. They will leave other parts, they can work for country. People that are leaving other parts and going to work in Rwanda in Africa. Not because Rwanda rich, and because they manage, they give fiscal accountability. That's what we want in Ambazonia. I must put that building block now going forward. We don't allow me thief be a norm. So some people they can't defend them. They can't defend thief. They can't defend the stealing of state budget. Say be okay. Be some thief. Don't be indoctrinated and so destroyed mentally that we normalize that one. No. The next revolution is Ambazonia. I'll make sure say we'll fight to the end. Thanks for those who watched. Thanks who are watching, and we'll make sure say we'll continue to put an eye on this type of thing. They make sure say the nation will be like. We don't make a nation where they give you independence today, then tomorrow we struggle again for fight the next revolution, for fight against corruption. Will they clean all the go now as we move along? Thank you now.